savage tribe. New takes weekly, unfiltered and raw. Isaac's voice, the memer's law.
Scanning for Mexicans. Ah. We've got a Mexican!
Golden age of America begins right now.
Let's go.
Oh, alrighty, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are on episode 14 of the Golden Age podcast, and I'm happy to see everybody in chat. And before we check in with chat, we're going to check in with everybody here. Hoodie, thank you for stopping by. First time on the show. Look forward to hearing what you have to say. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. You got a great thing going, Isaac. Keep going.
Thank you.
It's amazing to see everyone in the community just doing their own thing and, you know, getting podcasts going and getting guests on. It's just a beautiful thing to see. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. There's obviously a lot going on in the world right now.
Yes,
Not
there is.
talking pop culture, but yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Alrighty, yeah, and thank you. You know, it's great. We have the whole chat to thank for keeping this going too. And so, Corn Boy, how you doing? Thanks for being here every week as always. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Had a great weekend. Went to a concert. Feeling great. This is going to be a good week, and hopefully some good things happen. We'll see.
I agree. Looking forward to it. Yo, Pops, our man on the street. How are you doing?
I'm good. Still a little bit tired, but as always, happy to be here. And thank you for having me on, Isaac.
Absolutely. Look forward to hearing what you have to say. Magnum, thanks for being here again. How you doing this week?
I'm great. I've been blocking out a lot of the news because I'm hearing so many different things from different people, and I kind of just want to like develop my own opinion on stuff. But and congrats to Yo Pops for blowing up a little bit since the last time we saw him.
Big time.
But big yeah, time. Kind of crazy how that happened right after he was on here with us. But yeah,
it was like a day or two later. Yeah, we'll take all the credit. Yeah, after here,
we got the Magnum bump. Yeah.
So that's an awesome thing to see, and we saw it live too. So we were all watching it as it happened. So we're very happy to see it. We'll be going over that too. The stuff in LA, and thankfully we have Yo Pops who we can trust to get some good footage and not filtered through the mainstream lens, as we all know, is not very trustworthy to say the least. So we're going to check in with chat real quick, see how everyone's doing. John, we got you in chat. Thanks for stopping by again. CND Designs, this guy's been making up some good stuff. Good to see you, man. Alex, we got Jake, and we have, let's see.
Just JK.
We have Weasel. We have Just JK. I'm looking for his comment. Good to see you guys. Thank you. If I missed anybody, my apologies. But it's an Irwin's potato.
Jeff?
It's always every single week. Where's Jeff at? Where'd I miss
Hi,
Jeff?
Weasel.
Jeff's always sending me some very suspicious memes. So
he's mowing the lawn, so he's lurking.
Okay, we got Jeff. Okay. Good to see you, Jeff. Good to see everybody in chat. We're going to start out with a few politically related but funny things to start it light, you know, as we do every single week. So we know protests upon protests upon protests have been going on as of late. And this was posted by Tony on X. He's a good account to follow if you want to follow some good political stuff. And it says, I don't know, what the F are they protesting about? Is that a random Canadian flag next to one of the flags? I don't understand. So look at this. This is out in front of a Target. This is the most eclectic group of people I've ever seen in my life. I don't think they even know what they're protesting about at this point. Let's see what they're doing.
I don't know. What the fuck are they protesting about? Did you vote for a king? I ain't gonna lie, somebody put me on. I don't know what the fuck they voted about. Is that a random Canadian flag?
Canadian flag? A gay flag? No,
I mean, the Canadians are technically the northern Mexicans, I guess. So I don't know.
That's very true.
Technically, they are still subject to the king.
So they're saying no kings. I guess that works in their case. No kings. Yeah. Okay, that tracks. So, a couple more interesting things, and we're going to get into the more serious stuff. This is a patriot right here. I tell you, not all heroes wear capes. I'm gonna have to mute this because of the music. But so there's a group of No Kings protesters along this roadway, and this patriot, this diesel truck driving patriot, just he did his civil duty and
Reminder: we don't condone you actually doing this because
Oh,
in some
absolutely
states
not.
it is a felony, and
Absolutely,
but it
yeah.
is
Dude.
hilarious.
Oh, no.
So
Oh
Yeah.
man,
right.
I'll
Good
be
Lord. There
And
we
we're just
go.
gonna say this is AI. We're just gonna say that for now.
Yes.
But
Oh my God.
yeah, so I think that gets the point across, to these wonderful, lovely, lovely people.
How does
And
your
as you
exhaust
can,
get that bad?
I don't know, he must be saving it up for a little bit. So yeah, so that was very interesting to see. And speaking of the No Kings, you guys have seen the No Kings protests where they have their signs and they're protesting. They think Trump is somehow a king, a king, really.
Yeah, weird.
Do you guys think Trump is a king or displaying acts of kingship at all? I mean, or is he
I
just
mean,
acting
he's
as an
King
awful
Lee.
president?
He's not a king.
True.
I
Very
just
true.
want to say that I never once have associated the words king and Trump together ever.
No, not in anything outside of a meme. I mean, he's never,
Yeah.
if anything, he's acted quite timid, not timid, mildly in his exercise of the law. He is a very cautious. He's being careful to not disrupt the flow of things in the country. I think.
I mean,
he
that
was
meme
acting
of
like-
God Emperor Trump has been around since 2016. So yeah, it's just a meme.
So kings do not give states' rights back to the states like
No.
Trump did. Trump does. So
No,
it's just
kings
something
do
that
not
kings
argue
do
with
not do.
Congress day in and day out to pass a law. Kings
No.
say this is the law now.
I would argue he's been acting the opposite of a king, and as far as legislation goes. So
I would have to say so.
You know what's funny is during the protest when I was covering it, I actually talked with one guy. I was just kind of asking him, hey, so what's this whole deal with this No Kings thing? And one of the things he said, one of the things he kind of like compared it with was like how North Korea does the so I guess that day there's a it was the Army's 250th
Yeah, 250th
birthday
anniversary of the U.S.
anniversary,
Army. Yeah.
right? And they were doing just kind of like a parade or something like that in Washington D.C. And the guy was one of the things he said that really stuck to me was he was comparing it to with how Kim Jong-un does like the military show of force parades with the nuclear missiles going down the street with the tanks and stuff like that. And I kind of found that a little bit interesting. I found that statement a little bit interesting the way he compared it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's a bunch of hyperbole.
Yeah.
That's as simple as I can put it. It's just a bunch of hyperbole. And I guess if you're not really informed on just how kind of things work, I guess it could come off as that. But
it's just they're spinning it how they want it to look, to make them look bad, and it's just pathetic. It's honestly,
I mean, if you actually watched it, it was like a history lesson. Every time a new time period came out, they would announce what happened and
Revolution,
how our
Civil
forces
War,
were
Vietnam
at the time, and what new technologies they were using in each time period. Nobody watched it who criticized it.
No.
I guarantee.
I think that was pretty cool. The way they did that too. Like each group of they just segmented into like the different histories of the army.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was pretty cool.
It was a big history lesson, and I liked it.
I'd say he's trying to honor people who served in all different groups, right? Like that's the idea. I didn't follow it necessarily, but I'm pretty sure that's the idea.
I think a lot of people like us, we can see the value in it, and we see it and appreciate it for what it is, and that's all it is. And then there's other types of people who are the type to complain about it, and I think this sums it up very well. It's the famous, meme of the guy, all the empty stations here. He walks down next to the guy and he says, "So I went to a No Kings protest today," and I think that sums it up very well. The type of people that feel attracted to go to such an event. So
it's like walks over there, like, how's it hanging?
Exactly. Nice wristwatch, by the way. Yeah. So it's
my whole thing is too like look at you guys, your day-to-day lives. Who has time to go protest like 4 or 5 days in a row?
People that get paid to. People that get paid to.
Yeah, that's their job.
It's not real. It's not like that's not what real America looks like. Like
no.
It's
annoying.
either their job or they live at home with mommy and daddy and don't want to contribute to their own well-being.
So they're
Or they're
funneling tax
homeless people,
dollars,
nothing else to
funneling
do. You know,
They
funneling
want the
tax
government to be
dollars,
their daddy.
funneling tax dollars to pay for these protests. And if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have any protesters.
It's funny you bring that up, honey, because that's the same thing I said when I was out there. I was like, dude, this, you know, okay, first couple of days when it happened, okay, you know, it was during the weekend, whatever. The past week, the whole time I was like, yo, like, do these people not like? Okay, there's a guy there. Sorry, I don't want to, you know, take over the conversation.
Oh, you're good.
There's
I want to hear about this.
I was walking. It was in downtown LA. I was walking through, and there's a group of they're just protesters at this point. Just, you know, they're marching down the street, yelling, "Our street, whose street?" Blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And apparently, there was a guy on the street corner. He was sitting there, and this guy was like yelling at the protesters because he's like, "Dude, it's fucking Monday. Like, I got work tomorrow. Don't you people have work tomorrow?" You know, and like, because what happened was his car was parked in a parking garage where the police had cordoned it off, so he couldn't go in there. So he literally has to wait there all night till like everything clears out to get back. And so I talked to him. He's like, yeah, dude. Like, he didn't want to go on camera or anything like that. So it was off camera.
Right.
But the gentleman was like, yeah, dude, like, I don't get it. Like, do these people not work? Like, dude, I got to go to work in the morning tomorrow. I got to get in my car, blah, blah. And I felt so bad for the guy. I was like, damn, I'm so sorry, man. But yeah, it makes you really think. And yeah, I think people are getting paid to do this because I think the No Kings, the No Kings website, nokings.org, there's a section in there where it tells you how you could be an event leader and like organize stuff for your local area and things like that. I think there are a good amount of people that either somehow are either getting money or maybe getting something to go out there. Not saying all of them are, but I think that element is present in that
well, it's actually like in the paper, like they actually put ads out for this stuff, but
in Craigslist as well. Yeah.
We know it's happening, but it's not all it's not all of the protesters. Some people just want to.
Section.
Some people aren't working.
I know.
Some people aren't working. They just want to go burn stuff.
A No Kings protest. Yeah.
There's a huge portion of this country that does not work, and they don't have anything.
I know.
To do.
It's just. I mean,
will not even.
Yeah, and the Democrats in LA,
like we're saying, this is their form of work. You know, this is kind of their thing, and we look at it like, how could they? But there are NGOs, you know, non-government organizations that will finance.
Yeah, states like California subsidize it more than other states. So
yeah,
here's my question to you guys. Like Yo Pops was saying, this guy that's pissed off because he can't access his vehicle. The general public who are very inconvenienced by all of these things, shutting down traffic, ruining businesses, all of that. Do you think this is going to bite them in the end and possibly have the reverse effect in the general public eye, where average people who are not in tune with politics might be like, anytime I see these rainbow flags, these Mexican flags, these anti-Trump flags, it's going to turn them off to that stuff, and it's going to want them to go the other way and possibly come over to a more common sense side of things of like, okay, these protests are BS and enough's enough.
Gavin Newsom is done for, I think.
Way?
I don't think Gavin Newsom's not going to be a candidate. That's it.
No.
Not, I mean, in Cali, yeah.
Not presidential.
Not presidential candidate.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean,
it's a race against time. It's the age-old adage, the givers versus the takers, you know, the producers versus the
consumer
welfare.
You know, I'm
which
not
one
so
is bigger?
I'm not so sure because I think it depends on where you're at, which part of the country you're at, but also it's just, and I really hate to say this, I'm going to sound very insensitive and I'm going to sound like an asshole for saying this, but a majority of the people throughout the country, not even just in California, but throughout the country, even the world, let's say, their brains are turned off. The brains are switched off. There's no critical thinking going on, right? So if whatever popular media, whatever the popular flavor is of that day or that year, that time, people are going to just go with it. I think that's the problem. Now you're going to definitely have
memory.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to have a good amount of people that have common sense. They'll be like, no, I remember when they shut down the freeways and I couldn't get to work and stuff like that. And they'll definitely vote the other way or whatever. But I think for the most part, the majority of the population are not, their brains are literally turned off. So they're just going to go, oh, it's on the news. Trump did this, or, you know, that they did that and this. Oh, you know, Nazi, blah, 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 blah. And so I don't know. It's hard. I always say this, like, it's hard.
Well,
to tell.
many
It depends.
many
I don't
people
know.
are believing, sadly, that Trump is. They're calling ICE the Gestapo. They're ripping
Yeah.
families apart out of their homes. It's like, dude, they're deporting criminals. Okay, they're not ripping these poor little whatever. It's like these are criminals that they're removing from our country. And
So, Yo Pops, I agree with you. Like that, you said it really well. Not to be disrespectful to anybody, but that's very true. Not just here in the world, like you said. But something I have hope for is this younger generation that is not watching like traditional news. They're using
Absolutely.
X, they're using TikTok, Instagram Reels, and they're seeing real, stuff. It's not catered to a certain audience, because regardless of what you say, Fox News is catered to more older conservative
Yes.
folk.
Boomers.
CNN is obviously they're all catered to their own audience. So what I think is happening with the younger generation is they're getting their news, like they're seeing it in real time with no bias spun on it, and they're making their own thoughts and opinions on these things. And
Right.
I think that's great for the future.
I have a little bit of a
it's-
slightly different take. Basically, I think that people are kind of what Yo Pops is saying, but not nearly as dumb as the media thinks they are. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, because for them to lie like as blatantly as they have been,
Unless you're
a
not
lot of
talking about
No, you make an
liberal white
excellent
women.
point. You make a good point that the media, the mainstream media, do view the general person very lowly. They see it as just a puppet to be controlled,
There's-
and
and
I
this is
think
why Trump.
they've overstepped the line, and I think you make a good point.
That's
That's
why Trump
did
won
win.
popular vote. He won
People are
popular
like,
vote
well, if
because
they're
people
railing
were like,
against
screw
this
this.
guy that hard, he must
Yeah.
be the right guy to go to.
Sorry to cut
You
you
know-
off, Corn Boy. Go ahead. You Corn Boy.
I'm sorry.
You got something to
Oh,
say?
I was going to
Sorry.
say, and that's what happens when they stop censoring certain people and certain sides in points of view. When X got taken over by Elon Musk, it was
Yes.
a left-wing echo chamber, and then all of a sudden it evened out, and they cried racism when it evened out.
Mhm.
Well,
I don't,
They can't play. They cannot play on a fair playing field. Then they
Well-
hate that. What
well,
were you saying?
it's not even that people are dumb, because it's just, and this is the thing, is that all this propaganda that's going on, it's not just people, they're just spouting out words. This is all like there's a formula to this, right? And the best formula to humans, when you invoke fear, that flight fear response, it's very strong in us, and they know how to tap into that. So you could have the most smartest person, PhD, this and that, engineer, whatever, but when a reptilian brain, that little small part that we tamped down for years, when they unlock that fear, especially to the media, when you got all these mainstream media channels saying the same exact thing about what's going on,
on a
you
script.
invoke that fear, and you literally lose your ability to clearly think. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what's happening. And
Cherry
these
You
people
lose
are
all.
facts.
You lose
They're
all
just-
rationale when you get given to that fear instinct of the fight or flight, the survival.
Yeah.
You have to do.
we'll see if
whatever's
that
necessary.
formula works with
Right.
this war going on in the Middle East now. That's the big test
Well,
coming up.
we will be covering that in very soon, the whole World War whatever situation, because I think like Kyori was saying, a lot of guys, I'm Gen Z as well. A lot of guys are not going to be going along with that. We're not going to the sandbox for a bunch of bankers. We'll talk about that soon, though.
I think the fog of war term is going to be very relevant.
I think so. I want to show this clip. Speaking of alternative sources of information, you make a good point. X, Instagram Reels, TikTok, whatever. People are receiving their information through much more less filtered means now. We're watching Yo Pop stream. We're not seeing,
Yes.
hey, 2020. It's not mostly peaceful protests. We're seeing these dudes are lighting cars on fire. We're seeing they are assaulting officers and they're blocking traffic. We're seeing it with our own eyes. You can't lie to us anymore. And I think this clip from this, I don't have his name. This was a repost, but this sums it up very well. This is a satire clip, but I think it was really good.
There is nothing better than Los Angeles, bro. This is where heaven touches the earth, straight up. Nothing better, bro. Just don't look over here, though, because there is a riot
look over
going
here.
down right now. They are kind of pepper spraying people and stuff like that, but let's just get back to this. Shit. Let's get back over here. Let's go.
No, it's okay
Bro,
over here,
nothing
though.
better than LA, for real. Yo, honestly, the riots ain't even that bad in LA, bro.
No.
Nah. Oh wait, watch out.
Random crazy person, not even scripted.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen her.
That's LA.
I think I've seen her on my first night.
Sirens.
It ain't that bad.
That's not that bad here.
Not that bad though.
So there is nothing better.
So I thought that was just so perfect, that sums up a lot of the way these liberals are. They're like, yo, we have like a super high crime rate, but have you tried the taco trucks? Like the street tacos are awesome, man.
The dog, everything's on fire. This is fine.
This is fine.
To be fair, at certain points, I felt like I was doing the same exact thing he was doing because, I was really for us, it's like unless buildings are on fire, like there's like literally widespread looting. That's like that was pretty tame for out there. So I'm just like, it's mostly peaceful, blah blah. I'm kind of like, wait, hold on, there's like 3 cars on fire. They're trying to like burn down Los Angeles Times fucking building.
A little bit of coping, a little
Chunks
bit
of brick in the streets that have been thrown all over the place. Yeah.
I was like, no, I mean, it's like it's not 1993 with the Rodney King stuff, like that was way worse. So this was
as long as your 3-foot circle is good, then you're fine.
Pretty much.
Everything else is fucking.
Nobody is currently attacking my person right now. I'm good. Everything around me, whatever. But
No, but see, Isaac, that clip you just shared is a good example of what I was talking about. Like 10, 12 years ago, I was in senior year of high school. You wouldn't see stuff like that. Like you would just see the news or you would hear from people. Like now people are seeing things straight, like right on their phones in real time, and they're making their own opinions about things. And
absolutely,
I know a lot of the younger generation is not as dumb as people make them out to be.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think they turned the page on that.
So
we see it firsthand, and it's due to a lot of the stuff you're saying. The freedom of information now, without the censorship, big time.
Yep,
big time. And I think Hoodie, you're saying 10, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, that was OG Twitter. Censorship was like they showed you what they wanted to show you. It wasn't X. People seem to forget that, and you were only going to be shown what you wanted to be shown. When Gavin Newsom would be running, when Gavin Newsom would be running for governor, a clip like that would probably not have been shown because they'd be like, look at LA's beautiful, best place to be. Everyone's moving to California. They're not showing the percentages of people moving out at high rates, and they weren't showing that back then. Now we're seeing this stuff. It's like, whoa, maybe a deep blue Democrat city is not the best place to be all the time. Maybe voting blue all the time is not the best option. We're seeing this. And we're seeing other states such as Florida that has turned red, once was a kind of a swing state, but now is a firm red state. And they have Ron DeSantis. Say what you will say about Ron, but from what I've heard, he's done a pretty good job.
He's governed well, yeah, for sure.
He's governed well as the state. So here, Governor DeSantis says that Floridians are allowed to drive over protesters in the street if they feel like their life is in danger. That is a very important caveat. Love this. So let's see what the governor of Florida has to say out of his own words.
We also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for infringing on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
That is
damn right.
That is based. You should not have to be a victim, and people say, oh, it's just people in the street, you're in a car. No, mobs are highly, highly dangerous and they can escalate very quickly. So if you're in a car and you get surrounded, the governor there is saying you can do whatever you need to do to get the heck out of there. What do you guys think of that? Do you think more states should follow suit in the right of protecting yourself, self-protection? What do you guys
think? Absolutely. And he's very careful with how he's phrasing what's happening here. Because he's not endorsing people to run people over. No. He's endorsing people to protect themselves from mobs.
He's telling the mobs really to stay off the dang streets.
People have a right to defend themselves, and part of that defense tactic is to drive away when a mob tries to pull you out of your car.
Absolutely. So, you should have no obligation as a citizen to sit there and be victim and be torn out of your car. We've seen this stuff. We've seen this stuff before. You know, people have lost their lives being stuck in mobs
Yeah.
and traffic. And
Reginald Denny out in, Reginald Denny and the LA riots back in
the truck driver, right?
92. Yeah, the truck driver
Yeah.
got pulled out of his car or out of his truck, beaten almost to death. And luckily, the residents there, you know, they went like, oh, they saved them. But like, and the thing is my mom, she had to go to LA for work past couple days, and I told her, you know, she's a small little Asian lady, you know, and like I told her mom, like, you know, this is when all the things went on out there. I was like, look, like, if for whatever reason you get caught in a crowd and these people are banging on the window trying to break it, trying to pull you out, don't just sit there, like, just drive, go, like, just do what you need to do, get out of there, you know, run them over, get out of there, and go to a safe place, call 911, you know. I mean, like, and I'm in California too, like,
Yeah,
the
California laws be damned, because they
Yeah.
will probably arrest people for that. But
Yeah.
don't give your life up for the chance.
At the end of the day, you have your life still. At the end of the
exactly.
day, right?
You can't defend yourself in court if you're dead.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
What do they say? Judged by 12 over carried by 6.
Judged by 12, carried by 6. Yep.
Exactly right. So make your choice, you know, as an individual on that matter, and act accordingly and act morally, you know, and do what you got to do.
Something
So,
else, kind of going back to the first clip. Sorry, Isaac.
oh, go right ahead. I want to hear.
I just want to say, you being, I think you're a couple years younger than me.
Yeah. 25.
Oh, Pops, you can vouch for this. Corn Boy, everyone on the panel can vouch for this. As you get a little bit older and you experience things, your mindset on things changes. You become more smart, more mature, and you start to, you know, just see things more common sense. I think there's a lot of people who have not really woken up yet, that we're seeing causing a lot of this ruckus. But like I said, the older you get, experiences you go through tend to change.
Absolutely.
But if
your
they
views on
never get a paycheck where they have to earn money and pay taxes, they will never know.
If they never see that pay stub and they see deducted, withheld, or whatever, if they never see that,
30%.
You can go from
Where's
being
my
a
money?
You can go from being a socialist to a Ron Paul libertarian and like that the first time you see it.
That's what happened to me. I was on the left in my 20s.
F the
and now I'm on
government.
the right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, what the hell? They're taking my money? You know?
I mean, when I was out there, you had dudes like probably older than 30, probably in their 40s. Literally, they're throwing bricks and bottles at the like, you know, tagging, like, these guys are full grown adults, straight up. Like, they probably have kids, baby mamas, whatever, and they're out there doing that. Like, I've seen that so much, and the whole time.
Mature.
I swear I was trying to see a clean wall on all your streams. I just couldn't find any.
No, no, it was, I was
It's
just like,
called a second childhood.
And you know, it's not America. Like, if you walk outside right now and you go to a store, you go to Walmart, Target, wherever, that's not America. People are busy. They're working. They're taking care of their families. They're going home, and they don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do not give a shit.
Majority.
It's blue cities though, and it sucks that I can't go. Like 20 years ago, you could go downtown Chicago and have a good time, get some deep dish pizza. Now I can't even do that.
Right
now, and that sucks. Like, I want to be safe in a blue city. You know, honestly, if I could,
it would be nice to see the
if
sights.
I could carry a gun, it wouldn't matter. But you're not even supposed to have guns in these blue cities, so you can't even protect yourself if you do go there.
Yeah,
so,
it's no. It makes a good point.
Supposed to, but
99.9% of people in this country, they're not radical ideologues on either end of the spectrum. Like you said, they're focusing on their own life, their family, their hobbies, their personal matters. You know, whatever that may be. They're not out there hitting the streets day after day. You know, maybe short.
Yeah, and these protests aren't doing anything to change their minds either.
Nothing.
My point is, it's just such a small amount of people compared to like the everyday working, you know, person. It's such an insignificant amount, but the way it's looking is that it's huge. And yes, it is a disruption. It is a problem. I'm not.
It's gotten a lot worse though. A lot worse. Like, because you used to be able to go to these cities and actually have a good time and go home, like I was talking about. And now it's like it's totally flooded with craziness. I mean, they're like, you can't even go to a gas pump in Chicago without being concerned about getting some. Basically, what they do is they put a gun to your head, and either they rob you on the spot, or they tell you to get in your car and they have you drive home so they can take everything out of your house, and then maybe kill you, maybe not. You know, and that's like daily routine now. Whereas before, well, now they're rioting in broad daylight. You know, it's so much different than it was 20 years ago.
Well, I think absolutely they're much more brazen now because they do know that they have paid off DAs and all sorts of
and
stuff.
they
They're
get
gonna
right
arrested
out
and
on
released night of.
recognizant bail, no money down, bails, all that.
George Soros, man, I'm telling you,
dude. Listen, I know some of Chicago was probably great. Like, I don't have any interest in living near any city. Like, put me out in the country, get me far away from.
Well, I went to LA in 2008,
100%.
and I literally
pay me to live in a big city.
I had no issues at all in LA in 2008. Like, I saw a couple of homeless people. That was about it. And I mean, I didn't see the whole city, but like I'm just saying, it was not what it is today.
No.
But
I can imagine. And it's a shame that we as a country have to live this way. We should be able, even if you're not a city person, you should be able to live in the country, go to town once in a while, get a pizza, go live in peace. And when you go to that city, you should be able to carry your gun that you carry every day and protect yourself just like you do. You shouldn't be broken out of your routine. America should be America, whether it's urban or rural. But these cities have been hijacked by leftist ideologues.
Should be safe.
And they want to ban these guns, get rid of all these guns. They're the reasons that we need the guns.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The biggest thing is safety, man. Like, you know what? You have a car. You want to make sure no one's gonna park your car. You want to make sure no one's gonna break into it. And then, like Magnum was saying, you got to watch your back, or it's
absolutely.
It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't.
It's unfortunate.
And you don't get those vibes in small towns, though. That's the thing.
Well, they used to arrest people who committed crimes, and now they let them out. That's what I'm saying. Is the difference is
they used to arrest them and keep them in jail until trial, and now they just
Well, it reminds me of the song. Try that in a small town, essentially. And if
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like they won't go for that shit.
No, it's not happening. The cops or the people will get you one way or the other. But let's finish up the No Kings thing. There's just a couple more things I want to point out. A little bit of hypocrisy on their part. Then we're going to move on to the unfortunate war issue. But this is from the legendary Retard Finder on X. This guy's been killing it. He posts some pretty funny stuff. But he posted from a screenshot from Democrats Abroad. And he says, you can't make this up. The retards had to change the theme from No Kings to No Tyrants because lefties in countries like the UK and Denmark love having a king. So here, a few notes. We've changed the No Kings theme of other events around the world to No Tyrants so as to not mix messages in a country with a monarchy. Interesting. That's very, very interesting. That's what we were talking about earlier. So they're saying no kings, except our kings. Our king, we have the good ones. The ones that we like are the ones we like, as long as it's our guy. No kings, as long as it's our guy. So
the same thing with people's representatives in Congress. It's all the other representatives that are the problem. Mine is okay.
And I agree with you here. No King's Day is the 4th of July. That is that's the real No King's Day. And I would
more
argue
tyrannical than Joe Biden, man.
So it sounds like No King's Day was really just no American constitutional, no American president or the Donald Trump. No
constitutional laws can be followed day.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean,
they're essentially saying it's Anarchy Day. That's what they want to say. Essentially.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad Retard Finder found that.
And what else I find very ironic and kind of funny is when Joe Biden won. Yes, sure, the January 6th, but after that, no one protested. No one went out and caused these, massive U.S.-wide organized protests. Like,
we never block traffic. We don't do that.
Yeah, they kind of learned what happens when you give the mildest protest on one side.
Yeah.
You all go to jail, and they don't let you out for 2 years without a trial.
You in prison.
Well, my point is that the everyday person doesn't have time to go do this and put effort into that. Everyone's busy with their own lives and everyone's going through something. They don't have time for this. So that's why I always find it very ironic. It's always when that side is in you have these types of things happen.
Exactly right. So that, and we could almost argue they're the king-like, they're the authoritarians, they're the tyrants. You know, we could honestly make that argument. And
it's sad that having a job, it's sad that having a job and having things to do makes you a conservative or an alt-right person. Or
It is
like,
yep,
right. Because they went so far off the deep end that everybody who's right wing of Mao is alt-right. You know,
and that's what's stupid, because I don't consider myself a conservative. Some of my values might be conservative, but I don't consider
pretty middle
myself
of the road for the most part.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, put me back in the 70s or something, and I'm probably center left.
Probably a hippie, dirty little hippie.
And, you know, I think that's an excellent point to be made. And this leads perfectly into what we're going to get into here. You know, I try to foundationalize a lot of my political beliefs on the Bible and a lot of traditional, you know, scripture, moral foundations of how to vote and stuff. And so that would make me, I'm very socially conservative, you know, on a lot of social issues and stuff, abortion, marriage, a lot of that stuff. And that I'm not a Republican though, you know, and I am very anti-war. I think war is generally pretty evil. You can make an argument, you know, certainly in certain instances you can
defense is you know,
defend, you know, I think America, we need to defend our borders, absolutely. You can make, you know, but George Washington in the beginning of this country was very clear, very explicitly clear. We're not going to be a nation of international campaign to crusade around and go abroad. And we're not empire builders. We're here. We need to build our own people and sustain our own land first. And the Stone Tossers meme summed it up perfectly, I think. And I just want to share this. President Washington, the Ottoman Empire is causing trouble in the Middle East. Shall we deploy the troops? Confused face. Who gives a shit about the Middle East? You know, says George Washington, essentially. That's, and you know, greatest president in our nation's history right here. And speaking of no kings, he decided to just take, you know, a term or, you know, 2-term president limit. You know, he's the one that established that. And I agree with George Washington, as I think many Americans should. You know, let's stay out of the Middle East to the best of our ability. And
who gives a shit about
America first? Exactly right. Who gives a shit about anything? If you're an American, your priorities should lie with America.
Agreed.
Period. You know, ideological stuff we can talk about: Israel, Iran, Palestine, the Russian, all that. Whatever.
If we didn't have our own problems like we have in, you know, like we're talking about right now, then sure we can do something else.
As long as we have one homeless veteran in this country, I don't want to hear a damn thing about going to foreign wars. I don't.
All those problems are caused by the same people that want us to go to war too.
Yep.
So
both parties on both sides, Democrat, Republican, both of them.
That's why it's a terrible system.
And I just wanted to address, you know, we're talking about the potential. We could be entering World War III. Not to be hyperbolic here, but I mean, if we're reading the writing on the wall, it's a possibility. We have some very large conflicts in the world right now. And I want to play this clip of, we're hearing something about Iran building nukes, Iran ready to build nukes, you know, very scary stuff. Scary. Ooh. So we don't want big old Iran to have
30 years now.
Yeah, I've been hearing that since I was 10 years old.
Wait a minute, let's play the clip of Iran having nukes.
Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, weapons of mass destruction.
Determined to get his hand.
I remember that.
Hussein, WMDs,
nuclear weapon,
active chemical munitions bunkers.
Yeah, let's go to war, right? Let's go invade the Middle East.
He's got chemical weapons.
He's got aluminum tubes.
That's why we need all that gasoline.
He's got the yellow cake.
No, but they really did that. They really said
cake is a lie.
Yeah, no.
We are living through it again. We're living through it again.
They have aluminum tubes. That was one of the things. They didn't just tubes. I remember. I think I was still in high school when all that happened. But like, dude, it was
they also use such an arbitrary term. The weapons of mass destruction is so arbitrary that you could tie it to anything. So
yeah,
they definitely had them. If you consider like a fork a weapon, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, it's just like the term assault rifle. It's only an assault rifle.
But they had weapons. It's just, what's your definition of weapons of mass destruction? They're trying to get you to think nuclear weapons, which they didn't have.
Right.
Know, but whatever.
It's very
They
up
barely
for
had any
interpretation,
missiles that
very
could do
subjective.
anything.
So this has led a divide in what you can call MAGA, the right wing, whatever. And Rob Schneider posted something. I want to get all of your opinions on this. So this is in response to President Trump, a post he put out earlier today, and I'm going to zoom in. Before we look at Rob, look, Trump put this out. Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, Tehran being the capital of Iran. I agree. Technically speaking, I would rather Iran not have nuclear weapons. I don't think any country in the Middle East has the right to have nuclear weapons. There are a bunch of warmongering weirdos out there. So, frankly, I think only the U.S. should have nuclear weapons. So that is Trump saying that, and I agree with Rob. Americans cannot and will not participate in another Middle East war. It feels like WMD's 2.0, man. It really feels like that. Right there, it keep talking nuclear, 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 the N word, as President Trump likes to so fondly say. And I think this is just it doesn't sit right with me. What do you guys think?
I don't think Trump. I
Rob's
don't think Trump wants it. I know other people want it. I don't think Trump wants it. That's all I'm going to say right now.
I agree.
You guys go ahead.
What do you guys think? Hoodie, what do you think? You saw the George Bush clip. We're all familiar with that. Weapons of mass destruction. Do you, like I said, Israel-Iran stuff aside momentarily, we can get into that. But do you think this whole fear-mongering type of thing, Iran nukes, they just keep regurgitating this? Do you think they're going to try to use this to get us boots on the ground out in the Middle East, possibly?
It's like it's certainly looking that way right now. I don't want to say yes because I don't know for sure, but the way things are every day, we're getting new, like more. And I actually have a cousin who's stationed in Bahrain, which is across the Gulf there, and they're getting evacuated right now. So
I bet, yeah.
And I've seen all those military planes that are leaving the U.S. heading over to the Middle East. So
25. Yeah.
I definitely can see it going that way. I certainly hope not, because 99% of Americans do not want a war or to get involved in a war. There's a really small but wealthy 1% who would profit off of war. So I can definitely see it, but I really hope not.
And the timing is very suspicious, being as how recruitment had ramped up since the president took office, and now they're getting out of basic, getting out of their other trainings, and it's kind of scary that they are building up forces, and what for? This could be it.
Yeah, It seems that way, and I think many, speaking for myself, a lot of draft age men in this country, like I said before, more than willing to defend the sovereignty of the United States, our family, our freedoms. And this just doesn't scream that's that, to be honest. Israel, their 2,000-year spout, over land and stuff. It's like, dude, not my problem. Sorry. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Islamic. I'm Christian, and I'm American. And that's what I will fight to defend till my last, dying breath. I would fight for my beliefs here, and anyone that opposed me here, as a sovereign American, and those foreign problems are not mine, and not ours, I believe, as Americans. And
that's the best way to. I think that's the best way to put it. I mean, it's common sense. It's not radical. It's just straight up like this. Why should this be my problem? And we don't even live on the same freaking continent.
Exactly. And like that's what I was saying. Like, turn on the news. I know I'm not saying turn on the news to be brainwashed, but like
not media.
We have our own problems that need to be focused and solved here. So there's no way we can put our energy onto another continent, like you just said.
We have a problem with communism in this country.
There's so much wrong here that we need to focus on and fix and make it better for the next generation.
Our country cannot go to war if it's being torn apart from the inside by traitors.
Yeah,
we cannot face two fronts at once. We're facing a war in the home front of ideology.
We're talking about verge of civil war. we're going to join another war while we're in the verge of civil war. That's not good.
The next generation is the most important generation.
Yes.
And China's just waiting. China's just waiting for us to get weak.
Yep.
Yep.
They play the long
game. You're right.
Yeah. And Hoodie, you make a good point. The next generation, after us even is the most important. This is the key. This is the pivotal. And this is what I keep saying this, it's a culture war. Here on this channel, we tend to tackle it more on the straight up political side. We do talk some pop culture stuff too. You guys, the GCA, other people in the fellowship, the 199, we need to tackle the culture war wherever it may find us, whether it's in politics, gaming, movies, pop culture stuff, whether it's in, if you're into cars, if you're into fashion, if you're into health and fitness, if you're into anything, whatever you're into, you don't need to be a overly preachy ideologue about things, but just bring up suggestions to people, ask people questions. Why do you believe what you believe? Can you tell me? Can you explain to me? And would you be willing to hear out why I believe what I believe? And can we come to a civil conclusion on this? We need to have open discourse with people. If we're gonna have an honest discussion about these really prevalent issues that face us going into the future. And I think, like you said, the next generation, in conjunction with more access to social media, free speech sites like X, I have hope, and that's why we call it the golden age, because I think we can have a golden age ahead of us if we put the work in, and I have hope.
So they had support. I remember 2001, as I was like 16 or 17, so I was a little bit old enough to start understand certain things, but still pretty retarded, but getting smarter. But they had a lot of support to fight back then for that war, based on what happened on 9/11. I do not see that support here this time. I do not think that it's a politically smart move for any politician to support this right now. And
no, it's
beyond just me being,
they will lose a primary if they.
I think that's going to be a saving grace. I honestly don't think it's likely that we're going to join in like super heavy handed. Obviously, we always like to pull the strings like the Godfather.
We're always sending money and stuff, which we can argue. I believe we need to end all foreign aid too, man. Keep our money at home. They don't. When I say they, I mean anybody on the face of the earth except America does not deserve American money whatsoever. It's ours.
And there's a reason why
they don't deserve a part of our labor to fund themselves. Yeah,
trillions of dollars in debt.
Well, what Magnum was saying, and the interesting thing is too, is you got so when 9/11 happened, you had a bunch of I had friends that joined up. And it wasn't exactly right after 9/11, but like he was in the Iraq conflict a little bit after, because I graduated 2007, so it was a little bit after. But the war was still going on. It was still hot and heavy over there, right? But a lot of these guys, a lot of these military members that served in Iraq and Afghanistan after 9/11, they all came back, and it's essentially 99.9% of these guys I've talked to, they always told me like, no, it was all bullshit, I would never go back.
They will tell you that.
Yeah, I won't go back. They don't take care of us after we did all that, and then when the U.S. pulled out, I mean, it was such a slap in the face, right? So, I do agree with Magnum that like there's I don't think there's going to be anybody that's going to be willing to just sign up, right? The recruitment numbers are so low. So I don't know, but at the same time, I think, and I feel like I'm kind of jumping subjects here, but I think like the way it's going to happen, it's going to be kind of like a Cold War type of thing, right? Maybe just a couple like missile strikes, things like that.
Cuban Missile Crisis, a standoff of forces, right?
Right. And I think as far as boots on the ground, I mean, we are in such an unprecedented time as far as just the way the world is, that it could be quite a lot more possible than it used to be, where we would get boots on the ground. But at the same time, I just feel like maybe it won't, but I'm not going to completely discount it. But I think in the beginning, it's just going to be like, maybe like a drone strike here, maybe a missile launch here, that type of thing.
So I think we're missing a very key element real quick here. I just want to bring up why I think this will never ever happen. The biggest reason is Iran is totally weak, and they don't even have support within their own country. People hate their government in Iran. They do not have much of an army. The army they do have is incompetent and whatever.
They are a paper tiger, and they have no
Israel
Russia
international
just
support right
ordered
now.
all their people out of Iran too.
Israel will stomp the shit out of Iran on their own. They don't even need our help to do it. So this war is going to end quickly, if you ask me.
I agree.
And they don't need our help at all to stomp Iran. I mean, Israel.
Damn
is
right,
just,
Rough Night.
Yeah.
And look at that. We'll address Rough Knight's comment because that really hits what we're saying. And I just want to say with Iran, a lot of their so-called allies are not stepping up to the plate right now. They're not, international allies.
They are not.
So
Yeah.
I tell you right now, nobody is signing up to go march over there to fight those guys because we know not our problem. They're not even a threat at the moment. So if they keep saying if I hear one more time that they're 3 weeks away from building a nuke, I'm gonna lose my mind.
They said that 20 years ago. They said that
Ever
20
again.
years ago, 10 years ago. They said the same exact thing.
It's all empty threats. That's what I was trying to get at. That Iran is
Wildly, it's the same
empty
Israeli
threats.
president that's been saying it for 3 years,
Very
30 years too.
interesting how that works. It's almost as if that ideology hasn't left that region.
The reason why they were able to attack Israel is because the United States helped them do it, because Joe Biden gave them billions of dollars.
And Obama. Don't forget Obama too, with the crate of money.
Yeah, I mean, it all
big
started with
pallet
Obama.
of money. Yeah,
but
So
Joe
we
Biden was
enable an attack
continuing.
and we stack up for the defense. It's ridiculous. So to address Rough Knight's comment, what we were talking about veterans, we said no foreign wars, no foreign aid, especially so long as we have any homeless veterans in this country. We saw how they betrayed our veterans with the Afghanistan withdrawal. They treat them like garbage at the VA when they come back. He says here, can confirm it was all BS to fuel the war machine. They used us, made us sick, and left us wounded. The same thing they've done to every other generation. I haven't been in myself, but hearing from Rough Knight's firsthand account, that's unfortunate. You should not treat your warrior class that way. That's a disgraceful way to conduct yourself as a nation. As we say, hate the war, love the warrior. Regardless, a lot of these boys that went in, they're right out of high school. They sign up. They love their country. They love their family. They believe, we're fighting for freedom abroad and stuff. And they go do it. And like Rough Knight said, they make you sick. They leave you, and nothing left to it. So it's very unfortunate. And that's why hopefully the MAGA movement, whatever you want to call it now at this point, even after the years of Trump are over, we need to be very much more veteran-oriented in this country. And that doesn't just come from a government level. If you know a veteran, in your life, give them a call, check up, see if they need anything. Just, it's an individual thing, person-to-person thing too. So that pretty much wraps that up. Closing thoughts. We didn't get to all the tabs. We actually had some really great conversations. And we're going to be closing in on a couple more minutes till Off the Hip on ABF's channel. And yeah, I agree with CND here. MAGA is bigger than Trump. It's a movement, not a man. Men can falter.
It's up to us to carry it on too, because
we're going to carry the torch. So I just want to say thank you. We've had, we peaked almost 25 people in chat tonight. So the live concurrent viewers, you guys are killing it. We went from single digits. Guys, last stream, we hit like 36 to 37 concurrent viewers. And I just want to say thank you so much for showing up every single week. You guys in the chat are the best. Rizkit, I agree, you're late and very gay. So, Jake, we appreciate you very much. Jake's one of the best. I see him in every chat in the whole community. Jake, you're awesome. Thank you.
And spread the word, guys. I'm sure a lot of us in this sphere feels exactly like us, and wants people to talk about the things that we're talking about, so that you can have conversations in your own life and get conversations going with your friends and family. Stay up to date and stay informed.
That's what we want. We want open conversations and dialogue. Everyone's not going to see eye to eye on everything all the time. That's perfectly fine. We need to have these open discussions. That's what this show is for. We're 14 episodes in. And I'm very pleased with where it's going. And Hoodie, this is your first time on. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really good to hear from you. I've been watching, the GCA now for well over a year. You guys are killing it on the pop culture front, like big time. And I'm quite a nerd on a lot of things myself, even though we talk a lot of politics here. And thank you for coming on. What's your final closing statements, and where can people find you going forward? We have
Thank
your
you for
links in the
having
description.
me. It's been a blast. You guys are a great group of people to just sit and talk the shit with. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, last thing I have to say is going back to what you said, Isaac. Just talking to people, just face to face, seeing why they believe what they believe, and then explaining why you do. And at the end of the day, one of you might be able to give another person more perspective into something and make them double think the way they're thinking. So, and it goes both ways. I'm not just saying strictly one way, conservative or
absolutely.
If you want to label, I don't like labels. I really hate the labels, guys. So,
I appreciate that, because that's what has divided us as a lot as a country, is the labels, and closed off conversation.
I just think real conversation, when you walk outside your door and you go to the store, you go to a restaurant, that's America, not what you're seeing portrayed in the media. And I am more into pop culture. Obviously, you guys know that about me. I'm not too much into the political side, but of course, it's relevant. It affects pop culture. It trickles down to everything we love and do. So it's all relevant. I'm on the GCA
Absolutely.
on Wednesdays, and everyone, thank you so much for inviting me on, having me here. Yo, Pops, it's great to be on another show with you. You've been killing it, man, with the
Heck yeah.
protest coverage, man. I tell my sister, like, the past 4 days, like, how lucky and happy I am I met you and that you're doing all this. So
And I'm
it's
lucky and happy
awesome,
I
man.
met you, man. Please.
Hell yeah.
Same, guys. It was
Come on.
great to meet y'all at MegaCon. We had good times out there.
And I'm hoping to maybe make it in 2026, Lord willing. I would love to meet you guys at down in Orlando. That'd be awesome. So we're gonna shoot for that. And Corn Boy, where can people find you? We got your link in the description too.
Yeah, just hit me up on X if you want, at Cornboy. I just finally put a video on my channel. I went to a Baby Metal show over the weekend and put a video up from there. So if you want to watch that, doesn't matter. It's just a stupid little video. But yeah, you can find me every week here, and I'll be watching all the shows and supporting all my friends and fam online. So see you there.
Yeah. And Yo Pops, do you want to address this real quick? You and Hoodie, is there something we need to know about? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can be cute sometimes. So,
where can people find you? We know Yo Pops.
Everyone knows where Yo Pops is now.
Yeah, everyone knows Yo Pops now. Man, I just want to say, we're not gonna be weird, but we're very proud of the stuff you've done. Thank you for providing the service of seeing, what's going on in the world without the censorship of mainstream media. It's like I watch these streams. I'm like, dude, 6 hours just passed. I thought I started Yo Pop stream like a minute ago. So where can people find you?
On YouTube, obviously, Yo Pops 215 X Kick. I'm all there. And I think we got nothing going on in the next couple of days, but Juneteenth is right around the corner on Thursday, I believe, June 19th. So we're going to see if anything's going on at that time. So stay tuned. And I just want to say, just kind of final last words, let's increase the peace, no wars. All right. And everybody, please think for yourselves, whether it's Trump, Biden, whoever. Don't just listen to them and, just think for yourselves, see with your own eyes, and just confirm and just please. Like, I want the truth. That's what I want. I have my opinions on stuff, but I want the truth, and I hope everyone feels the same way about this world and the things that we experience. Is the truth is the ultimate goal.
Amen to that. Well said. I totally concur. And to wrap it up before we raid off the hip, Magnum, we have your link in the description. Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter or X. I got a channel. Don't have any videos yet. I got one video, but working on a few things in the background. I'll let y'all know. I'll post some shit on X or something. But
for sure.
Aside from that, I'm gonna always support the community. I support everybody that I can, as long as my wallet can handle it. As far as the super chats go. But other than that, just to try to, like I was talking about earlier, try to block out the nonsense and try to think clearly about what the hell is going on, because it's crazy. We're talking about the fog of war. I was around for 2001. I was, like I said, I was old enough to kind of sort of understand what's going on and then watch everything that happened after that. And I'm kind of seeing some of the same BS here and there from the same types of people. And you just gotta stay vigilant, man. Like, educate yourself.
Absolutely.
So
I agree big time. Stay vigilant, stay mission focused, and cut out the chatter, focus on what's important, seek the truth.
War,
you guys summed it up
there is
perfectly.
times where war might be necessary, but I would say probably
don't go
only
looking for a fight.
Don't go looking for it.
Self-defense, I'm all for it. If it's outside of that, I'm not for it. So
pray for peace. What were you gonna say, Yo Pops?
Oh, sorry. God, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. Tomorrow I'll be on. I just want to shout this out real quick. I'll be on Irwin's stream on
nice.
tomorrow. So
nice.
Just
everyone
awesome.
tune
Go
into
check out
Nerd Wars tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I always forget.
So-
I know Isaac.
Yeah.
The last time he had to remind me, I was damn it. So my bad.
It's hard to keep track. We got to write this stuff down. So guys, go raid off the hip right now. Go check out Good Gaming Stream. They cover gaming, pop culture. They're pretty based over there, and give them a golden age raid. So tell them we sent you, and enjoy the stream over there. So guys, thank you. We will catch you next week, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, as always, and have a good rest of your week.
peace.